o'clock, I'm calling the meeting to order. I'd like to make a motion to unseal the minutes from 29th, non-public.
Second that.
So from July 29th,
Yep, the legal.
we did not have a non-public session on July 29th, I don't believe.
Yes, we did after Casella left.
We haven't seen, we had non-public sessions on July 22nd.
Wasn't it the 29th?
I don't think
On
so.
July 22nd, we had 2 non-public sessions. We haven't seen the minutes for the,
Well,
but I haven't
Is
seen
that
them.
is that the non-public
Yeah.
session that Tom asked me to leave?
Yeah,
That was the 22nd.
22nd.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the minutes either.
Do you have copies for all of us?
I don't think that was the 29th. What's today, the
It's
9th?
the 22nd.
I make a motion to amend
What?
the 29th
No.
to the 22nd.
We have not even.
You said it was the 22nd, all I'm doing, what's the big deal?
Oh, sorry, I thought you said the minutes.
No. I make a motion to change the 29th to the 22nd, so it's right, the date's right.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to deal with all of the minutes at one time, all of the changes to the minutes.
Do you have the times that you guys went into this session and came out of this session? And what time the minutes
Came
were
out at
sealed?
8:40. Should be around that. This one here.
And you didn't make a copy of that for us to review, all of us to review?
Did everyone get the sign-in sheet? There's a lot of people here, I don't know, so I'm just asking everyone to sign in. If you haven't, let us know and we'll pass it around to you. Thank you.
I'm not even sure that this is following these minutes, from what I recall of the meeting. So where it says Tom, how come I was not included in the conversation? What conversation are you talking about? I don't remember.
That was talking about legal.
That's after the sentence of Jo Beth saying she told him there's a special order to articles that needed to be followed.
And I have a correction to that paragraph. And she corrected that the voters can change the order of the warrant articles. She made that correction in the town meeting. Then Mr. Sweeney agreed that he would just discuss his petition warrant article with the budget warrant article, and that's how the moderator had us proceed.
If you said that, I don't recall that, but if you said it, write it down.
I'm gonna go grab my folder, cause I have notes from that.
select board meeting, not a meeting for us to have discussions. Chairman?
Okay,
Okay, what?
I don't hear you.
I'm sorry?
I heard you.
So, you're not gonna do anything about it?
They can stop. Anybody that's making comments. Please.
minutes included with the form that we usually have. The date is wrong, so it should, you're correct, Tom, it should be the 22nd. We also need to record never mind, I've got another change to make. First paragraph should be that Tom requested that the select board meet without the town administrator. Neither he nor Eric provided a reason. JoBeth noted that without Jeanette, someone else would be required to write minutes. Tom and Eric agreed to this responsibility. After the paragraph that says Tom, just my opinion, I have nothing to say on that. There should be a paragraph that says JoBeth. The Mitchell Municipal Group is one of the top municipal attorney firms in the state. Both Walter Mitchell, retired, and Laura Spector Morgan have provided excellent service to the town. Next paragraph. It reads, JoBeth, that legal is not the one we usually use. It should read, JoBeth, that the lawyer is not the one we usually use, parentheses, the attorney at town meeting, in parentheses. A couple of paragraphs below. JoBeth, she told them there was a special order to the articles that needs to be followed. I would add to that. And she corrected that the voters can change the order of the warrant articles, including the budget warrant article. Mr. Sweeney agreed to discuss his petition warrant article with the board warrant article. 2 paragraphs below that, says JoBeth, why did you cancel the appointment with our legal? It should be, why didn't you reschedule the appointment with our legal so you could talk with her? She's very good at what she does, even to the point where she corrects me. A couple of paragraphs below, JoBeth, that's spelled wrong. Correct the spelling of my name. The chair has special rights. That should be replaced with the previous board delegated the chair to work with legal as appropriate. Next paragraph reads, right before a year and a half, Tom, right before a year and a half, I've had enough of Mr. Swan undermining the select board. JoBeth, I don't think this is a board matter, I add to that paragraph for non-public meeting. Couple of paragraphs later, it reads, Tom, I make a motion for Eric to seek new counsel for the town of Dalton. That needs to be changed. I make a motion for Eric to seek information on new legal counsel for the town of Dalton for the select board to consider at our next meetings. Eric seconded the motion. Jobeth, I'm going to push back. I think this meeting should have been held in public. Down on the voting on sealing minutes, where Joe, and again, my name is spelled incorrectly. Needs to be corrected throughout here. Sometimes it's correct, sometimes it's not. Voted in A, I guess that means an A. And again, objected and stated that this meeting should have been held in public. So before we move to accept the amended ones, I have some questions. Eric, when we went into non-public for legal, who had you discussed that with before that meeting?
Who'd I, what, discuss it with? Nobody.
Nobody.
No.
And
How'd I come up with the lawyers in this?
Tom, who did you discuss excluding Jeanette from that meeting with?
Nobody.
So how did you know what the subject of the meeting was going to be?
I mean, how do I know what, I knew what I wanted to go in for. Listen.
Wait.
No.
Eric called the meeting for legal.
No, you know what?
And so,
We will-
excuse me, I'm asking questions. Eric called the meeting for legal. I had no idea what the meeting was for. Before we discussed what the meeting was for, you wanted Jeanette excluded from that.
No. There was a meeting and I says, make it 2. I've got one too. That was from me.
So how did you want me to leave the meeting when you didn't know what he was talking about? Cause you guys didn't have another meeting after that.
Don't even try to twist this around.
No,
You know,
I'm
you
not
know,
trying
that's
to
what
clarify it.
No, that's the way it happened, and I'll tell you what's going on here. You're trying to undermine us again, because I'm gonna tell you right now, half of these people do not normally come here, but look, they're all here to try, because you're gonna try to make a fool out of ourselves. We're not doing that. I will look at that, I'll review it, I'll retype it, and we will continue on and we'll take it from there. Cause I'm not gonna do this with you. When the thing about it is, it's the same thing you call it, well, how come you didn't make 3 copies? 90% of the time, we don't get 3 copies come across this board.
But you guys get it before
so-
before
No,
it comes
this
to
is
the
the board
table.
meeting, please.
I'm
This
in
is
the
the
board.
board meeting, please.
Not the board.
So, I will correct your thing there, we will continue on and we'll take up the matter.
Okay. I have some things I do want to discuss before we move on to the agenda that we were just given today, which is a little bit different than the one in the email. Eric, who did you discuss having a meeting on Tuesday with?
You?
When?
I tried calling you the night before.
I have no missed calls, no messages on my phone.
But it was nice of you to email me back and tell me not to do it.
I didn't tell you not to do it, I just said, what's going on?
Recommended not to.
Hmm?
We were recommended not to. which was nice of you.
Who posted the notices?
I don't know. I didn't.
Okay. So you didn't discuss it with anybody, but you don't know who posted the notice of the meeting?
This is not a court hearing here. I posted them. It was given to me to post. I posted them.
Okay, and who gave
Now,
them to you?
we are going to continue on here. We're not gonna play your 100-question deal to try to do what I thought, my opinion, I think you're doing. So Eric, if you can continue on, it'd be great.
Okay, so I just wanna let the people
No,
in the room
you're
know.
not,
No.
This week has been a bit challenging for me. The select board agreed to cancel the regularly scheduled meeting on Monday, August 5th, because Jeanette was going to be in town clerk, tax collector training in Concord the entire week and would be unable to prepare the usual select board business items. We agreed not to reschedule it for the following week, which would have been next week, because Eric was going to be out of town. So we made arrangements to sign the payroll checks outside of the meeting. At the July 29th meeting, the select board, the end of the meeting, we confirmed as a board that we are not going to meet on Monday, and we discussed that the next meeting would be August 19th, the regular meeting. Eric mentioned that he wouldn't be back from vacation. I noted he could participate remotely. He said he wouldn't have cell service. So we still agreed to meet so that we could sign the AP checks, and we made plans for signing those. On Sunday, August 4th, Eric sent out the following email message, quote, letting everyone know I will be on vacation from August 12 to August 22, 2024. During that time, Joe Beth and Tom will sign checks. No other select board business will be conducted while I am on vacation. No select board meetings will be held. End quote. This goes against the decision we as a board had made to meet on the 19th. I believe Eversource is scheduled to come on the 19th.
Yes.
That was it, that's been in our minutes. And even without Eric, Tom and I would make a quorum, and we could sign checks and do other town business. So what this appears to be is a pattern of the chair acting unilaterally, making decisions that should be made by the select board. On Monday, August 5th, at 4:05, Eric sent out an email with the subject line, non-public meeting to finish up non-public business before vacation tomorrow at 6. So this, again, goes against the select board decision regarding August meetings. There was no coordination with me regarding the scheduling of the meeting, which would have been common courtesy and respectful way of dealing with fellow elected officials. I don't know whether you and Tom coordinated or not. Having only a non-public meeting is not allowed by state statutes. The board must be in a public meeting and then motion and vote to go into non-public session for specific reasons as outlined in RSA 91A. This meeting was not posted on the town website. On Tuesday, there were notices posted on the municipal building window and on the doors of the fire station and the old town hall. I have no knowledge or confirmation regarding when those notices were posted and whether they were posted at least 24 hours prior to the meeting. Do you know when they were posted?
24 hours, 4:35.
Okay. I'll note that RSA 91A(2) states, a notice of the time and place of each such meeting, including a non-public session, shall be posted in 2 appropriate places, one of which may be the public body's internet website, if such exist. End quote. My question is, are the fire station and the old town hall, quote, appropriate places for posting notices? They are not usually accessed by the public and are not our usual places for posting notices. The town hall is leased and not under the purview of the town. The fire station is not open to the public. RSA 91A 2B goes on to state, if a public body chooses to post meeting notices on the body's internet website, it shall do so in a consistent and reasonably accessible location on the website. If it does not post notices on the website, it shall post and maintain a notice on the website stating where meeting notices are posted. The website calendar is our standard and consistent means of posting all meeting notices, as well as a bulletin board in this building. The Town of the Dalton Board of Selectmen Rules of Procedure states in section E2, the chair of the board has no regular administrative or executive duties. Section G 4 and 5 state, agenda items will be listed in neutral summary format. A copy of the agenda and supporting material shall be provided for all selectmen prior to the select board meeting, with the goal of electronic distribution to select board members by the Thursday prior to the scheduled meeting of the board. No agenda was provided for the Tuesday meeting. And then another issue is the fact that it's the content of the non-public session, which I believe you want to unseal, so that's good. Okay. On Tuesday, August 6th, I arrived at the municipal building at approximately 5:45 p.m. The meeting notice was no longer in the window or on the door of the fire station or the old town hall. There was no cancellation notice. I waited for over an hour and neither Tom nor Eric showed up to attend the meeting. When I was able to check my email, I had a message sent from Eric at 5:29 p.m. That was after I left my house to get here for the 6 o'clock meeting. And no, I do not check my emails while I'm driving. So again, who did you communicate the cancellation with? Because I didn't hear it till the last minute.
I canceled it after you sent me the email.
Yeah, but you canceled it at 5:29.
Well, I don't get out of work until,
Okay, but then Tom was taking signs down at 5:17, which was before you sent out the email
Are you accusing them?
to me. So it just, I'm seeing a pattern where I'm being left out of conversations.
Isn't Wednesday set up for me to sign the checks, cause you were too busy? I got here at 7:45 and went in here to 8:35, and then I get an email at not after 9 o'clock that, you came in to sign the checks.
I was here on Tuesday, so, and Nancy was here.
No, I was assigned to sign the checks. You weren't available. And there was no communication there either. And it's not a purpose thing that it's been happening here, but it happens. And it happens in your court. In my opinion, it happens to your side quite a bit.
So Eric did send me an email, and I may read it later. It doesn't explicitly cancel the Tuesday meeting. It dictates a meeting on Friday, August 9th at 4 p.m. And in the email that I sent to Eric, I had suggested that, quote unquote, scheduling of an additional select board meeting should respect all members of the board and involve direct coordination with their schedules, end quote. So I had suggested that, but it didn't happen with the scheduling of Friday's meeting, today's meeting. And the agenda that he listed routine items that couldn't happen because Jeanette's been in Concord for the tax collector town clerk training all week. Here are my notes regarding the non-public session from June 22nd. On your agenda that we got today, you say, no public meetings or working sessions until August
26th.
26th, but we have Eversource coming the 19th, correct?
Yes. Cause we agreed we were gonna meet that day.
So you might as well. Might as well.
Yeah.
If they're already coming.
And that way we can sign checks and do the things that normally need to be done.
So we are meeting on August 19th, our regularly scheduled day.
Did everybody get that?
I heard the Dumb and Dumber comment.
Yeah, that'd be no different.
Yeah.
Any updates on grants?
No, I've
No.
been gone.
Alright, legal discussion?
Can I ask a question?
Shoot.
Oh, no, the legal discussion will be open.
Yeah.
It's not, okay,
Yep.
never mind.
Did we open it?
Not yet. I don't think so.
No, because she wanted to add her comments to it.
But
To non-sealing the
do you
minutes.
want to unseal the minutes?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to unseal the minutes for non-public session number 2, I believe it was,
Yeah.
from July 22nd.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we can discuss it.
I expressed my opinion in the non-public session when Tom brought up changing legal counsel, that the Mitchell Municipal Group has provided good service for us for the last 5 years, and that they're one of the top municipal legal firms in the state.
No, we're not denying that. It's just time for, I think, where it's a new board, it's time for a fresh set of eyes on everything that's going on.
One for the chair.
Okay, and this reads, by the authority given to me in a majority vote of the Dalton Selectboard non-public meeting, I've interviewed and selected a new legal firm to represent the town of Dalton. 2 firms were interviewed. I'm sorry, I think that should be a board thing. I thought you were going to come back with suggestions for us to review and interview and consider.
You can print it off if you want.
Hmm?
I was comfortable talking to Nathan from Upton and Hatfield.
And what about Drummond Woodson?
They represent towns from up here.
From up here?
Yeah,
They do?
local towns.
Drummond and Woodson and Upton and Hatfield?
No. Upton and Hatfield, southern
Right.
towns.
I'm sorry, I'm not following you. So the 2 firms that you're listing that you talked with were Drummond Woodsum and Upton and Hatfield. Which one represents towns in this area?
The Drummond Woods,
Okay, but you're recommending Upton and Hatfield
Yeah.
because they don't.
right.
And what's the rationale?
Don't really want to expect anybody from up here. All the Upton and Hatfield are smaller towns from down south.
Do you have a list of their towns?
Yeah.
Okay, can you
I can
provide that
send
to
it
us?
to now.
And then, I am curious because on the NHMA website, there are 5 firms listed. So there's also Cordell A. Johnson, DTC, Donahue, Tucker, and Ciandelli, and we've done work with them, in collaboration with other municipalities. I mean, Mitchell Municipal Group in Upton and Hatfield. So, why did you pick these and not the other, any of the others?
One was on vacation. I talked to these two. And I was comfortable when I talked to the Upton and Hatfield.
I'm not comfortable moving forward without talking to them myself. When we moved to the Mitchell Municipal Group, Walter Mitchell came and talked with us, with this whole select board.
He's willing to come up.
Then I think we should do that. And I think that the 2 of you should talk to the Mitchell Group too, that this should be on the list for consideration. Whether we continue with them or move to a different firm.
Boards change legal all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry. Alright, thank you.
It's funny, just, in my opinion, there's a lot of double standing going on here. You know, if, he's done his homework. The board prior took and replaced people at random when they wanted to. And if you wanna go further with this, we didn't have, there should be 3 people giving us bids on certain things. And I'm gonna throw out that floor. We just had 1 person, and he's gotta come back for a second time now, because that floor is still coming up. If that would've came before the board where we could've asked specific questions, it probably would've been different. But I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, I need to interject here. We had more than 1 bid on the floor. I have them in my office, and the floor coming up has nothing to do with who put the floor down. I just would like to cover that, because what you're making is not a correct statement. Additionally, I would like to state that if the changes that you're making in those non-public meeting minutes, where the motion that Tom made was for Eric to gather information, then this document is moot. Because if that's the case, and you guys are agreeing to the modification that she made, that there was a motion for you to gather information, then you didn't get the right to do what you did. So I just wanna state that.
If you weren't constantly working against us on everything, and you would have helped on this to begin with, it wouldn't get like this. This is all new to me. You know, so I mean, it goes 2 ways. You gotta learn to work together on things. And that doesn't happen, you know it doesn't happen.
I have
That's my
tried,
opinion.
Tom, I've tried to work
Yeah.
with you since you were elected, and Eric, I've tried as well. What's frustrating with me is you've both gone through NHMA training, you have knowing your territory, the reference book available, you have all the RSAs available. Tom, you went through the training twice. Just schedule a non-public meeting where you can't. You have to schedule a public meeting and then go into non-public session. That's just not the way things should be done. I feel like I'm always having to step in and make sure that we as a board are doing the right thing. Okay, I'm getting tired of that. For 5 years, I really tried to do the right thing, to be above board and transparent. To me, what it felt like is that this felt like the same situation where you had that list of what you called safety policies and procedures in an amended version that you're trying to push through, because you and Tom can vote against me, but it doesn't mean it's the best thing to do or the best way to do it. So I think that we need to do this the right way and have firms come and talk to us as a board. And make an evaluation and a decision.
Well, like Jeanette said, this is probably moot.
Moot.
Is that, we're going with amended version.
I'm sorry?
The amended version says that,
Yeah,
Right, because
The
you said
amended
you were gonna
version-
get
Right.
information and come back and we would discuss it at a future meeting. And I had again said that it should be in public, which at least we are doing it in public.
okay. So I'll send out the PDF from, the hub, up to the Hatfield, and the other one,
The PDF that,
that he sent me.
okay. And then, shall we have Jeanette schedule them to come in
Yeah.
and meet with the board? And I think we shall also include the Mitchell Municipal Group.
That's fine.
So I'm contacting Upton and Hatfield, Drummond, Woodsum, and Mitchell
Yeah, I'll send you the, PDF on it.
with contact information?
Yep.
Thank you.
Do we also wanna consider Donahue Tucker and Sandella? We talked with them when we had that meeting about, an abatement issue. When we had to go into the
Oh,
office because the cell service was so bad here. It was a non-public one, so I'm not going to be more explicit than that.
I know which one you're talking about now. What's his price?
I don't know, I haven't contacted them. And I don't, I mean, we need to have,
We
you know,
don't
quick
need, we
service.
don't need 4 or 5 firms coming in. We just, we have 2 or 3 that we can talk to. That would be more than sufficient, I'm sure.
Okay.
So we'll move on.
Excuse me?
So can we move on to the next one? So I'm gonna send Jeanette the PDF and she'll get it out.
Do you need a motion?
Hmm?
Just said, does it need
You
a
have to make
motion?
a motion to, if you want to come in.
I'll make a motion for Upton and Hatfield and the Mitchell to come in.
And Drummond and Woodson?
Yeah.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What's that now?
Excuse me?
Are we good to move on?
You're the chair.
Discussion about the checklist lit?
What did you need?
Something about the checklist? Christina's been, asking about it.
I haven't received anything about the checklist.
No, she weren't invited to the vote, I guess.
No, she was invited to the session we had and she was there.
No. Okay.
We all signed the documents together. And that was to do the 30-day letters that had gone out. And we went and reviewed all of it. And then signed the documents and went online to take care of it. The only questions outside of that was regarding the training, but that's up to Concord. They're only training certain people, and they're doing it in stages. And I did receive an update, which I forwarded on to all of the supervisors of the checklist out of the town checklist email.
Okay.
I don't know if Kathy knows what your question is. Cause it appears to me that she doesn't know what you're talking about. You might wanna give her some background, cause I'm reading
Christina.
this different.
Christina, the one up on the hill, whatever her last name is.
Fintonis?
Fintonis.
Jonas,
Thank you.
yeah.
She's the one that was inquiring about it.
What he says on here, if I may, on the agenda, discussion of supervisor of the checklist, vote for assistant, explain what went on.
That was held at the session that was on the night of the town elections and town meeting. And that was to ensure, it was with the advice of the Concord Hava System and Secretary of State's office, so that we had two people who currently had access to the new system, so that if something should happen to me, somebody else could get into the system. So that night, we were required to hold a session, and during that session, we voted to have Jennifer Green be an assistant of the supervisor of the checklist, so that we would have a second person with access.
Okay.
And that was the recommendation of the Secretary of State's office.
Thank you.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm asking about
What?
Peterson's.
Say again?
Do we need to go into non-public?
I think so.
I know I have a non-public.
Okay. We'll go into non-public.
Are you making a motion?
I make a motion to go into non-public.
I'll second that, and is this for welfare?
Mine is.
All in
Will there be
favor?
an
That's the only
opportunity for public
non-public
comment
we're
this
doing,
evening?
right?
Yes.
It's the welfare.
And well, question I got. I'll ask it when everybody leaves.
Is it public or non-public?
Non-public.
What's the reason?
It's that
Hmm?
just a question.
What's the reason for it being non-public is what she's asking.
It's already in non-public. So I'm not sure if I can say it out loud.
Okay, we can always come back into public and discuss it. Okay, so,
Well, excuse me, will there be an opportunity for public comment this evening or not?
No.
can I just back up on the, discussion about the attorneys? Because I feel strongly that a couple of people who are apt to work with the attorneys as much as the select board should be involved, and that's our tax collector, which is Jeanette, our town administrator, which is Jeanette, because a lot of times she's the interface and she's reviewing the invoices, and the other one would be our moderator, Jay Ennis, because, you know, especially at town meeting, that's, and other things, in any of the elections, he's the one who's responsible for things being done appropriately. So I would like to make sure that they are both part of our, meeting with the attorneys firms that we're considering.
He can be here, right?
Hmm?
Jay can be here, right?
I can be here to listen, so it's a board meeting.
weigh in, not that they don't make the decision, it's a board decision, but I think they should be able to weigh in on the decision.
Usually the public don't get involved with their opinion on what the select board chooses for representation to the town.
That's quite true.
Excuse me.
And a question, and when we actually interview law firms, I actually would have to go out to legal to see if that would be public or non-public. The discussion about doing it definitely needs to be public. Okay, so Eric, did you make the motion to go into non-public for
Yes.
welfare and for question mark?
Question mark.
Is that legal or?
It's, one we already had.
It's legal.
It's legal.
If it's what I think it is,
It is.
it's
Okay.
legal.
I'll go ahead and second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we'll go back into public afterwards, but we don't know what will take place afterwards, right?
Probably gonna leave, adjourn the meeting.
So, before anyone asks, we'll go back into public afterwards, but we don't know what we'll discuss. We might just adjourn.
Well, don't take
So, we thought this is.
no public comment, right?
Shall we move to the other room, to next door to make it?
Whatever you wanna do. We can go to the other room. You wanna go to the other room?
That was good.
Whatever.
Take motion to seal the seat.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then did you had another thing you wanted to ask
Yeah.
about?
I didn't know about Smith Road,
And that's the road right by 135, which is
washed out.
washed out. I think we need to talk to Adam about that, but I'm not sure, I mean, I'm not even sure if it can be fixed.
Well, it can, but I don't know what it's gonna cost.
Is that a private road?
No,
Nope.
it's town road.
And it hasn't been fixed yet?
How many people are on Smith Road?
Two.
Stranded. They're stranded. They're stranded. They get a.
I'm sorry?
So, I know that Adam met with someone who went over the roads and culverts and stuff. I can see if he's gotten any information back from him.
Okay.
I've not really talked to Adam all week,
Okay.
so.
So if nothing's been done to that road at all,
No.
how long is that road?
So the road is right by where the bridge was washed
more
out on
35
135.
feet deep.
Okay.
So 135 is closed there anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm
And
just
we'll-
saying that if somebody lives there, we need to at least fill it so they can get it in town.
Can't
You
even
should
fill
take a
it.
look at it.
Oh, really?
No.
You
It's
should
gone.
take a look at it.
Wow.
I just wanted to turn around, I did talk with Adam and ask, because I was going over to talk to Nancy, and FEMA is gonna be a key piece in regards to rebuilding that road, and they have to wait until they finish getting that temporary bridge in place before the town is even gonna have an opportunity to go down there and see how much they're gonna need to build on that,
Okay.
okay?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 So the legal firm interviews, I went to set those up and then I started to look at it and I added it at the last minute, because I had questions on it. So I don't know if those are supposed to be public meetings or non-public meetings. Are they? Okay, so
That's a question I have. I would have to reach out to ask. I'd have to ask Nathan question, because I don't know.
I mean, I would assume it. I don't know necessarily if it would be I don't even know if it would necessarily be a meeting.
Exactly. I think that's a question you could ask them when you set it up.
Okay.
Well, I see how you brought that up. I took the liberty and I called NHMA about this, because, with the minutes and everything, and you called it moot, and I wasn't sure what you mean by that, so I got looking it all over and talking about it. And the minutes were definitely not moot. It's very clear on what was stated on what we wanted to do in the minutes, and so we're talking with NHMA. I said, do we have to? I told him exactly what happened. Do we have to interview him? He said, no, I never heard such thing. You made a motion to seek. I said, yeah, the chair was doing that, and he says, then you bring it before the board, and you make a motion to what you want, and that's what it's all about. You're seeking new legal. So I got thinking about it. I said, could you put the Mitchell Group in there? That's not new legal. So with that said, with what I asked to talk, what I talked to him about, I want to rescind Eric's motion for Upton Hatfield and Mitchell Group and Drummond and Woodson to come in. I want to rescind that. And I want to move forward because we wanted, and I also found out that these Upton and Hatfield and Drummond are part of NHMA recommendations.
They were listed on their website under their vendors,
Yeah.
which I said at that meeting.
Yeah.
But
So I want to reopen this to the motion that Eric made to. Oh, wait a minute. Let me back up. I want to rescind this, so I make a motion to rescind this motion for Upton Hatfield, Mitchell Group, and Drummond, Woodson to come in. I make a motion to rescind that. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it then.
we
Discussion.
had a good discussion at our last meeting about this.
I knew that.
And I think there are some questions that need to be asked of these firms before we jump in. For example, we have some things that we may be negotiating this year, and we want to make sure that those entities aren't already clients for them, or that they don't have a conflict of interest. I believe that Eric wanted to go with Upton and Hatfield because they don't have any clients up in the North Country.
Yeah, that's
But-
no lies on the.
But I have to ask, if we go to court in Coles County up in Lancaster, so wouldn't we want somebody who's familiar with the court up here?
Why would we want to go with somebody that's like that Brown? She does Whitefield, Bethlehem, Whitefield and Lancaster up here.
Well, I think we want a good reputable municipal firm. I just have some questions to ask these firms before we go with them.
Well, I'm
To make sure they don't have a conflict of interest with some of our issues. And Jeanette is a tax collector. Most of our legal last year was tax collector business. Jay is our moderator. He's our election official. He may have questions for them. And I think that just will help us make a better choice as a select board.
Well, is there anything else you want to add to that?
We had somebody here that wanted to ask a question.
Have you asked them for whether or not they're gonna charge mileage rates to come up here to do any legal? Because that can impact the cost to the town. There are some places that do that. I just asked and he acknowledged me. I know, and I had my, I'm talking with them.
I was just trying to point out what they couldn't see.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Dan,
Get up, point of order here.
Well, when
please.
Pam left, Diane was talking, and nobody said anything.
You were talking
too, so.
Well, she told me I couldn't.
We have point of order, please. This is the board discussion. We have talked with it about it, and I feel the same way that it's time because we have residents that were concerned about some stuff, and it's time for some new eyes on the situation. So with that said, I continue that motion. I want to make a motion to accept that motion to rescind that. All in favor? Aye.
You're not chair to call the vote.
All right.
And I'm going to reiterate that I thought we had a good discussion last time and that we had decided that we would investigate these three firms in more detail and proceed from there.
So the question was asked but never answered. If this firm is located downstate, how do you justify paying extra funds for them to come up here every time we need them? They've confirmed that?
Yeah.
What about the time?
It's $2.30 an hour.
I think they do charge.
And they're gonna pay, you're gonna have to pay them from the time they leave their office till they get here, and then from the time they leave here till they get back to their office. And they're located where?
Concord.
Just 2 hours away. So you're paying 4 hours of travel time and $230 an hour.
Is that a fact? So most of we tend to do things virtually, like phone
Yeah,
calls.
and not only that, they have, if you have some serious thing where the lawyer has to be here, there's that price. And then there's a paralegal. He only gets 100 and something an hour, and it's still a whole lot cheaper than the one we have now.
What do we pay now?
So,
I haven't seen those.
well, from what you guys been telling me, $300 an hour.
We don't pay $300 an hour.
So that's where, I think that the motion that was made at the last meeting and approved is a good one, because we compare the rates for the different, we get some more information, we find out what their client list is, because to make sure we don't have a conflict of interest.
I know we don't. I've already talked to them.
But did you ask them if they have a conflict of interest, if we negotiate a host community agreement with Casella?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't tell us that. See, and I think we have, as a board, will have some good questions to ask, things like that. I mean, all you said was that, they have just clients down in the southern part of the state. I would like to know if they're, that they have some familiarity with the Coas County court system, because that's where our cases would go. The Mitchell firm does, they may. I'd like to know their depth too. How many of their attorneys are municipal law attorneys? These are big firms that have other divisions as well. So I think there are just more questions to be asked. We don't have to have them here. We can do a virtual meeting. But if we're all comfortable with going with another firm, we have questions answered.
If this hypothetically, if this turned out that it wasn't good, we can always make a motion to relook again if we had to. But I don't believe that's a specialty. So
and same with Woods and Grumman, and same with municipal, with the Mitchell Municipal Group. So at least they're all respected municipal attorneys. I mean, I think with the Woodson Group, they have more depth in terms of their municipal benches, what I've gathered. So maybe we should go with them instead of Upton and Hatfield. But I really would want to make sure that we're not going to run into a conflict of interest with other clients that they may have. That's a big concern of mine.
Thank you. Just a point for the board to consider. Thought there was a really thoughtful discussion earlier when you looked to all of us in regards to the $5 additional fee, and really thoughtful comment about, let's put it to the voters. because the voters, that way there's no discrepancy. It allows people to have their say and not feel like they were left out. Just my comment on this is that I've heard all of these discussions along the way. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know if you're choosing the right one or the wrong one, but it hasn't appeared to be as thoughtful as that discussion. And that would be my only point, is that just from an appearance standpoint, how we keep it above board and everybody feels like it's a thoughtful discussion. But just a comment. Thank you.
It may be thoughtful, but it is no real business. It's the select board, their choice.
They are our select board, and they're representing us, and I think that they should be willing to have us listen to their discussion on different options. And I don't see what the harm is in doing more research.
I don't see what the problem is in changing a law firm if it's beneficial to the town. What?
But we don't know that. We don't
Well,
know
what is the problem with investigating having another law firm?
There's absolutely no problem, that's what she wants to do. She wants to meet with them and talk with them to make sure it's a good fit.
So 5 years ago, when we went with the Mitchell Municipal Group, we did meet with them. And you had the moderator sit in and choose as well. At that point, we had a very new board, and we may not have, but it would have been a good idea to have the moderator involved. I would have to.
It's just a board meeting. I think the board should handle it.
But it's our tax dollars that are paying for these attorneys, so I think it's important that you allow discussion on it. Shut up, worm.
Shut up, worm. Really?
Her nickname, worm.
Any more discussion on it?
Kathy?
I would like to thank the board to at least listening to all of us, but I would like to ask that people not start speaking to each other when we're all trying to talk with the board. I think interrupting others as they're putting their voice forward is very inappropriate, and anybody responding to it is inappropriate. And I'd ask that everybody treat each other with respect and kindness. Thank you.
All right, well, that said, thank you very much for your input, and I'm continuing on the rescinding, and I say aye.
No.
And I'd like to open the motion that Eric had, that we hire Upton and Hatfield as our new legal, that Eric be in touch with them to work out the logistics on switching from one to the other.
I'll second.
I still say, I don't have confidence that we've asked all the questions we should ask in making the switch. And that we should look at Woodson, the other firm as well. I mean, I don't have confidence that we're making an informed decision, because there are questions that I would answer if I were being involved in this process.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
We'll move on. I got one other thing that has to be done. Because you went by the conservation.
Can I just back up on that one thing?
So I don't think we went past that
We
yet.
didn't pass it
We're
yet.
still
I'm
on
sorry.
O of old business.
Are you comfortable negotiating all this, or do you want somebody to be with you on negotiating?
What kind of question?
And working with you?
It's a question she's asking the
Okay,
chair.
point of order, guys. Let's let the select board do their job.
I feel fine talking to Nathan.
And then translating the information back to us so that we can understand it?
Or sending it to you.
Well, or both. Okay, because I'm finding, like, what you told us about this, your conversation before, left out some pieces that might have been important. So, if you're not comfortable, it's okay to bring somebody else in, is what I'm trying to say. I'd be happy to help out.
Thank you.
And you can posted as a meeting and